Police, they are back out there in the community where Sebastian Rogers lives right now. I don't know what is going on, but it seems like as they're ramping up this renewed effort to find Sebastian Rogers, it's taking him to some familiar places. Check it out. As I've been discussing most of the day, there has been a renewed effort in the search for Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that's missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee. It is my opinion that he disappeared under suspicious circumstances, although law enforcement is saying that there is no evidence of foul play. Sumner County Sheriff's Office put out a Facebook post stating that they're going to be out in the community looking for Sebastian Rogers as this renewed effort for Sebastian Rogers gets underway. Something isn't right. We're getting a really, really odd feeling about this case. You're going to want to stick around as we dive in. From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you, God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.
Well, good evening, my beautiful coffee beans. It's nice to see you. I am coming direct to you from, well, I'm coming on StreamYard, but we're only rolling on our main channel here on YouTube. So this was an interesting, this is an interesting conversation piece, and it came, we all know that Sebastian Rogers is a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared on February 26th, so we think there's been some speculation of people that don't believe he came home. But either way, we were told that he was not in his bed at 6 a.m. when his mom went to go wake him up for school on Monday morning, which was February 26th. And everything kind of has unraveled since then. We're hearing a lot of different things, people being boots on the ground, other people leaving. We're hearing about, possible searches being canceled or not being disclosed and all this other stuff. And we're just trying to get to the bottom of where Sebastian Rogers could be and who is responsible for his disappearance. He hasn't been seen again since February 26th. We have no idea where he's at. We have no idea who did this. We all have our assumptions. We all believe, like for me, I believe Chris Proudfoot did it. So you're probably asking, why are we talking about Mom? We're talking about Mom because we need to talk about Mom too. There are some people that believe that Mom did this. I have been reading it. I've been watching it. There is a segment of our true crime genre that believes that Mom snapped. So I, started looking into this. I was going back and forth with, maybe not. And so I did this. I put this post up. Let me put this up here for you guys to see. So I put this post up on Twitter because of some of the stuff that I had been hearing about and seeing. And it basically says, so there's a segment of people that do believe Katie Proudfoot could be responsible for the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. They believe she may have snapped. So for Katie Proudfoot is the only one, so far, Katie Proudfoot is the only one that has not been accused of abuse, either through court action or through testimony of an ex or an ex-boyfriend. So do you think it's possible that a woman that has never been accused of abuse to abuse her child? What do you think happened to Sebastian? And so that's kind of, where this all kind of came from, because, we're so focused on Chris Proudfoot. Where, for me, I know I am, because that's where my heart is, right? I've looked at this, I believe it, but what if? Let's look at the facts. Let's go back to the drawing board. What do we know? Katie put herself right there in that house alone with her son. She is the only witness, according to the Proudfoots. She was the person that put him to bed. She was the person that woke up and was getting him up. She was the person that left the house that morning, and the only person that left the house that morning. We're hearing rumors that Chris Proudfoot's mom was seen somewhere near his school. Now, it's rumors. But what if? What if, right? And so, as I was saying earlier, I feel I can be reasonable. I can be honest with myself. And I feel like I'm being biased because I am only focusing on Chris, because everything's kind of leaning that way. The scratches on his arm, his anonymous timeline, everything's covered under HIPAA security, or he can't do it and can't talk about it because TBI's giving him legal advice and telling him to shut the hell up. Sounds like an attorney to me, but hey, who knows? Maybe the TBI got their law license and is representing Chris Proudfoot. I don't know. So obviously I'm biased. I'm looking directly at Chris Proudfoot. But this is why we do this. This is why I put stuff out there. Is because I want to know. I want to know people's thoughts and opinions. And there is an angle that I'm not looking at. There is absolutely an angle I'm not looking at. I think I've been a little too nice to Katie Proudfoot. I think that I just didn't want to have to look at her eyeball to eyeball. Maybe Bullhorn, Betty is getting a little old. Maybe I'm getting a little slow. Maybe I'm getting a little scared in my old age. Maybe I'm fearful for having to take this. I need to stop. I can't even keep a face. Okay. All right. We're done with that. Okay. But seriously, let's talk about Katie. Why not? If Katie did this, how would she do this? We know how Chris would do it, right? He either broke into the house or he was already there and Katie's lying. Obviously, there was a scent that went over to that new community. It stopped right there. Sounds like somebody picked the boy up. But, you know what? It's not coming from LE. We're hearing it from this person. We're hearing from that person. So what is the facts? The facts are what we know as facts from law enforcement is that they were called at 6:33 in the morning for a missing boy. When they arrived at the home, they brought the cavalry with them. Katie says one thing and is now saying another. She says she had a day out with her son. Now all of a sudden she's got a cousin and two aunts with them. Can't figure out where they fit in. What time did they pick them up? They clearly weren't with them when they went to the Texas Roadhouse, because it appeared that she was by herself with Sebastian. So where are the cousin and the aunts? Did they not go out to dinner with them? What did they do with them? Why would she just go pick them up? Were they at the bowling alley? But you see where we're going with this? Katie Proudfoot put herself in a corner, and here we are pointing at Chris Proudfoot. Why? I mean, we know why, but why did we pass Katie? Right? Why did we pass Katie and go straight to Chris? I'm curious with your thoughts. We've got the phones open. We have the phones open right now. So if you want to call in and tell me what you think about it, because you know what? I know there are people in my audience. I've read your comments. And you guys, there are people here that think that Katie Proudfoot is responsible for this and snaps. And quite frankly, if you remember, that was one of my first theories. When we first started this, oh, thank you, It's Me, Jen. God bless you. It's Me, Jen, just gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell It's Me, Jen. Thank you. Thank you, and God bless you, honey. So, Forsooth hopefully I said that right. Forsooth investigation agrees KP is sus 100%. So how sus is it? Because there was a piece of me that said, they're working so hard to remove Chris from the equation. Did you notice that? They work so hard to remove Chris from the equation, so much so that I feel like he's responsible. But then there's a piece of me, oh, thank you, God bless you, honey. And then there's a piece of me that says, what if they are telling the truth? Katie, what if Katie, I'm saying, what if Chris snuck in the house and did this behind Katie's back, right? What if Katie did something behind Chris's back? Maybe something lost it, because somebody sent me something saying that they thought she was drunk when she left the Texas Roadhouse, that they believe she might have had a little too many cocktails and snapped on Sebastian. I don't believe either of them. I think they're both guilty. Both guilty as sin. Yeah. I agree. I don't care what you're doing. Go to sleep. Go to sleep comment didn't sit right. The go to sleep comment didn't sit right with me. Also, her demeanor on camera isn't that of a concerned mother. Lula's Nana, that's been a lot of the things that we've been hearing about quite often is that concerned mother. Like, I've had a lot of women that have just reached out to me and said, I would never just stop. There's no way. I'd be beating the pavement. I would be doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're freaking out on these. How can you just turn your back? How can you run and leave? I wouldn't stop searching. What is wrong with this woman? Oh, thank you. It's me, Jen. God bless you. God bless you. So now that we're looking at KP, hold on, what does this one say? Excuse me. Let me go up here. I'm trying to get them all, if I can. I don't believe either of them. I think they're both guilty of sin. Yes, I agree with that. The demeanor and the sleep comment. Yeah, and you know what? The other thing is that thump and that thud. Even Nancy Grace and her forensic gal picked up on that and said, that's really not good. Because when you hear that thud, it's like they said, it's almost like a body dropping. It's not a smack, a bang, a crack, a shatter, a glass breaking. It's a thud. What would make a thud? The Black Logs Dictionary might make a thud. Let's see if this makes a thud. That's a heart. I felt that under my feet, guys. Like, I felt the vibration. I'm on a concrete block home, okay? I got concrete under me. Let's do that again. I felt that on the concrete. And this is just a Black Logs Dictionary. As you can see, this is, it's papers, it's heavy. Listen. I don't know. I think I'd be getting up to find out what the heck that was. I'm not sure about you. Let's do it again. By a show of ones and twos. All right? By a show of ones and twos. One being you're going to get your butt up and look. And two, you're going to roll over and go back to sleep when you have a little boy in the house, okay? A boy with disabilities. Now, tell me if you would get up and check on this. Would you get up and check on that? Or no? Because that sounded, and like I said, that's just a book. What kind of thud was she talking about? You know what I'm saying? What kind of thud? Because this is just a book. And I doubt this is the kind of thud she heard, if she heard a thud. I don't know. I would have gotten up. Now, we also have to think that, we talked about this before as well. The size of this home. Guys, this is a 3,400 square foot home. If you are blessed enough to have a home that size, can you raise a hand in the chat? Because I'm gonna be talking to you. If anybody is blessed with a $3,400 home, I think we'd all be blessed if we got a $3,400 home. I don't know about you, but I'd be buying them up all day long. Okay. No, 3,400 square foot home. If anybody has a house of that, like 3,000 square feet or above, maybe that's what I need to say. 3,000 square feet or above. If you have one, raise your hand, because I'm going to ask you. His room was literally on the front of the house, in the very, very, very front of the house. One of the front windows of that house is Sebastian Rogers' bedroom. Okay, Daphne, this is for you. Okay, so you've got a fairly large sized home. This house is. Oh, did I pull that up? You know what? Let me pull this up so I can show you. I think that would be amazing. Give me just a second. Let's look at the floor plan. I think we can all use a good review of this floor plan. I think once you review this floor plan, I think you'll get a good understanding of what I'm talking about, but I don't think you're going to get a good understanding of what I'm talking about until you see this floor plan. Gonna have to bear with me here. I got to go back to my. We've been a busy chat crew. That's all I can say. We've been a very, very busy chat crew. My beautiful ladies, for whatever reason, I don't know how to work. Is one of our mods in here? Can somebody? I can't find it. I don't know why. Oh, maybe I just need to open it in the Messenger app. Hold on. Let me see if I can open it in the Messenger app. That's probably what I need to do. Oh, I didn't mean to download an extra thingy. Well, shit. That's not what I wanted. Hold on, guys. I got to go through my phone. I think we need to look at the floor plan. But but this is for you. This is for you. So, his room is at the very front of the house by the front door. Okay, one of those front windows of the house. Their window is on the diagonal side of the house. So his is on the right front. Theirs would be all the way on the left rear. Okay, it might be just the opposite. They may be on the right rear and he might be on the left front. I don't know, but what I'm trying to say is the diagonal. From one side diagonally to the other side. That's where his room is versus their room. And I'm sorry, I can barely hear the doorbell. When I'm in my bedroom, I can barely hear the doorbell in my little tiny 1,100 square foot home. I don't understand how they can have a house that's almost 3 times my size and she's going to be able to hear a thump or a thud. And then they said, well, she's in the living room. So I looked at the living room. Well, there's a whole freaking staircase, a kitchen, and something else between her and him. So I'm very confused how she heard this noise. And if she was in the living room when she allegedly heard this thud, that thud would have been 10 times louder than that book. And she still didn't get up and go check it out. So, and also, moreover, I heard that somebody mentioned that it is possible that the reason why she interjected that thump or thud is because it's going to be used later down the road for a defense of some sort. Yeah, something not right there. Dogs would have been barking if it was an intruder. So, Daphne, can you hear from, like, if in your 2,700 square foot home, which is about, 600 square feet less than their home, do you think that you would be able to hear catty corner, like from one side of your house to the to the back, like from the front side of the house to the back side of the house? Do you think you could hear people talking? I mean, I'm sure you might be able to hear noise, but to actually understand what they're saying that far away, I guess is the question. Thank you, Shannon. God bless you. If she is innocent, this video should be deleted. If you have a bleeding heart, get off YouTube. I don't have a bleeding heart here. We're talking about a case. If you can't handle it, you shouldn't be in the true crime genre. And that's for Yitzy. Seriously. I don't, like, why are you here? Is the question. And no, I will not delete anything. We're having a discussion on a case. If you are that highly offended, please leave. It won't hurt my feelings at all, I promise you. I can't hear people talking in my kitchen if I'm in my room on the opposite side. Thank you. Thank you. And this is a much smaller house, guys. She has about a 600, well, she's 2,700, so it's so about 700 square feet difference. And her house is smaller, and she has a problem hearing. So this kind of gives what I'm trying to say. So let me find that that floor plan. It's in here because we talked about it. I just need to resend it to the group, and then it'll be at the front. Can one of my mods go in there and find that floor plan? I'm having a hard time finding it for some reason. And I know guidance. Oh, never mind. I found it. Okay, let me send it. Share. There we go. We got it coming out. All in a day's worth of work. Okay, here we go. Now this is a little grainy, so just work with me here. But I'll explain everything that we're seeing here. Just work with me here because it is grainy, and I apologize, but this is what I can do. There we go. Okay. All right, so let me take this off here. All right, so right over here. Do you see this way over here? This is their carriage garage right here, okay? This is their regular two-car garage. You see these steps here? It's for a carriage. They have like this this loft above their garage, okay? That I was not aware of. So this is the Proudfoot's bedroom right here, okay? Mind you, this is a 3,400 square foot home. So while it looks pretty small on here, I can promise you this is a very large home. This is their room here, and you see this room right here, this first floor room right here. That right there is Sebastian's room at the front, and his sister's room's in the back. And their room's over here. So as you can see, even if she was in the living room, which is right here, you've got the kitchen, you've got the bedroom, you've got this foyer, you got the steps to the loft. You've got all of this stuff in here. I don't know. And if she was in a room, I don't see how in the world she can hear all the way across here like that. So it is kind of, you know, some of the, you know, we're looking at all aspects of the story. We're looking at these things. We're looking at these things for a multitude of reasons. And those reasons are because we don't believe anything they're saying holds water. And I'm very critical of every little element and detail. From her hearing the thud, from her, you know, him hollering back. Like, did he have a bullhorn when he said, "I'm okay, Mom"? Because unless he was screaming, or he has my voice, which I talk very, very loud. My normal speech is very loud. I have hearing problems. I've had them my whole life. I don't hear myself talk. The only time I know what my voice sounds like is when I put a relay on, you know? So these people have better hearing than me, and I get that. I got some audio issues going on here. Give me just a second, y'all. Try to fix this. This might fix it. There we go. That fixed my problem. A little bit. So I've got the phones open, like I said. Let me get, actually, they've been closed down a little bit. Actually, you know what? We're already here at 2300. I'm going to, our 23 minutes. So I'm going to open up the phone lines just for a little bit longer. If you guys would like to speak about the mom, now's the great time, because I can promise you I'm probably not going to be discussing mom too many times. Because, you know, honestly, unless somebody can convince me that mom, I think mom's like a, you know, accessory, so to speak. I'm not looking at her as the main person in this. I'm looking at her more of as an accessory item, and an accessory to this, you know, obstructionist, something on those ancillary, you know, those more detached charges. Because I'm looking at Chris Proudfoot predominantly in this case. So their home is 3,000 square foot, up and down. It's about 3,400 square foot. Well, about 33.98 or something like that. I'm not sure. Oh, shoot. Crap. Whoever's calling, call right back. Give me a second. I didn't have the phone set up. I'm so sorry. Give me just a second, guys. I've got to get the phones. Don't call while I'm setting the phones up or you'll accidentally dox yourself. So give me just 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. Okay. Whoever just called, please call back. 724-249-6140. I'm sorry it wasn't set up, so I had to hang up on you. Otherwise, putting you on the screen would have told people what number you were calling from. So the phone lines are open. Again, 724-249-6140. I had to hang up on the last person because the phones weren't set up on the screen. They are now officially set up on the screen, so anybody can call. But I did hear you guys. And I think we're good to go there. So, I think we answered that. 3,400 square feet was their home. I do have a loud family. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty. This is Christy. I'm calling because I remember from one of the first accounts that Katie shared with us was that she went to her son's room to wake him up, and she didn't see him there, and she thought that he was in the kitchen making himself breakfast that she claims he sometimes did for himself. But wouldn't she have passed by the kitchen to go to his bedroom?
Let's pull that picture up.
Okay.
So there's her. Yeah, because she would have had to, because you'd have to go out of their room. Their room kind of goes into the great room, which is attached to the kitchen, and then she would walk down the foyer to the bedroom. So she would have had to pass. She would have had to walk right past the kitchen. She'd have to go through the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's very strange that she said in the beginning that she thought maybe he was in the kitchen making himself breakfast.
Good point. Okay. Good point. Thanks for pointing that out. But yes, you were absolutely right, and I do remember her saying that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I'm happy that you pulled that plan out. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Well, it's because we were having a huge conversation in our chat about the noise in the travel.
Yeah.
And so it did spark up a a good conversation, and why. Yeah. Well, I appreciate it.
It's interesting because it doesn't look like if she's in the living room, how did she hear a thud? I mean, it's not like it was the room next to that room. It's the room, there's a bathroom, and then his room. That's very odd.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And see, like I said, I have a small house, so the only people that can really test my theory in that house is people that have the large homes.
Yeah.
So.
It's very strange.
Yeah, but I appreciate your call. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Again, are you guys hearing my voice? I turned up the microphone a little bit on the calls because I noticed that whenever we use the Google Voice, it really drowns out my microphone. So I turned my microphone up to hopefully help combat that. I'm hoping that you guys can hear me just fine now. But what a great point. This is kind of why we do this and why we open up the phone lines, is because we forget stuff. This case has moved at lightning speed, but at a snail pace. It's the weirdest thing that you can say, to say this case is moving at lightning speed, but at a snail's pace. And that really kind of sums up, how I feel about this. Oh, Mab's getting mad. You better watch out. Don't get Mab on. He's saying there's only 24 likes. Folks, you better like that stuff up. We got 350 people in chat right now. And we're talking about an unpleasant and unpopular topic because everybody is Chris Proudfoot. But to be honest with you, we need to look at Katie. This is Betty.
Hi, Betty. This is Shay from Texas. How are you doing?
Oh, it's nice to hear from you, Shay from Texas. So what do you think? Do you think Katie did it?
Well, this is my theory, and it's not going to be very popular. How come no one's looking at Nina? Nina has the motive to thwart Christopher's custody efforts. Plus, I think she took Sebastian because Katie was planning on taking her baby first.
Oh,
And
so
she
you
got
think
the
it was
code-
kind of like a rivalry, revenge type of jilted ex-lover?
Exactly. And she got the code to the door from Faith, her daughter.
Yeah, because Faith she's 6. She would probably say things without realizing she's saying things that she shouldn't be saying.
Exactly. So maybe someone needs to take a look at Nina again.
Okay, well, Nina, maybe we'll have a show on Nina and break that part down.
Okay, thanks, buddy. Have a good day.
You too, love. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Nina, I mean, in all fairness, I'm hearing some no's in the chat. I hear ya. But we haven't looked at Nina. I mean, we'd have to look at what she would benefit from it, I guess. You know, like she said, jilted lover, you know? It's possible. It's possible. Probability, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but we'll look at it. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, how you doing?
I am doing well. Who is this and where are you calling from?
This is Chris calling from Nashville.
Okay, well, Chris from Nashville, what do you have to contribute? Do you think Mom did it?
Oh, yes, I sure did. And matter of fact, the last lady talked about a code on the door.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't the police trace that code back to see when that code was last used?
Good point. I wonder how that goes because she says she doesn't have a security system, and I'm curious if it's like the deadbolt on my door where I just have a little battery in it. You know, you put the code in and it's not really attached to anything. So I wonder what kind of coded door they have. I don't know if they could do that with mine. I haven't used mine in years.
And also, check this out, too. She works for Brink Alarm Company.
I know.
Brink Alarm Company offers free alarm systems to their employees at their home. So why did she have an alarm on her home?
I listen, that's another one of those things I just don't believe because, and I went through this whole security system thing too, and I'm like, she's an installer and she doesn't have like the elite top of the line system in her own home being an installer. That doesn't seem plausible to me.
No, it sure doesn't. Yeah, they're guilty as all get out.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Well, thank you, Chris, for calling in.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you for my call. Likewise.
Yes, and call back. So, I love it. We got some guys involved in this case, too. That's wonderful. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty, this is Southern Magnolia out of Louisiana.
Well, Southern Magnolia, how are you doing, love?
You like that accent, girlfriend?
I do. I love your food a little more. But, hey, we won't talk about that.
I know, babe. I'm bringing you some crawfish.
There you go.
Listen, I was calling in regards to, I think yesterday or day before yesterday, you mentioned something about child protection, DCF.
I'm sure I did.
Okay. All right. Well,
I could go, just to let you know, I could probably start a conversation about the Department of Children and Family Services and not stop until probably 2030.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to debunk Mr. Chris and his conversation with, he never specified whether she was a investigator or caseworker. I'm thinking he said caseworker, but even so, not one of those would come into his home and be that friendly.
See, that's what I was thinking, but don't you think it's a little funny? Because I think he accidentally let us in on something because he almost implied he's on a first name basis with this person.
No. They go through too many of them. I am not even a year out. I made a call on my ex-daughter-in-law. Never heard nothing back from them. Was ready to make a call again, and they accidentally called me, thinking they were calling her, informed me that they were fixing to come out and close the case. Was I at home? I said, excuse me, but who are you trying to get a hold of? And she told me, and I said, ma'am, this is one case that is not to be closed. I'm the caller. I'm the grandmother. I made that call. I said, I'll give you my name and the date that I called and the length of time of the conversation if need be. She said, oh, no, ma'am. She said, hold on, let me pull over. So she's with her boss. And they asked me some questions, and I give them their answers. And I said, when you get there, if the children have to be removed, will you call me? And she said, I will have to ask her who she would like to call, but, you know, I will ask her if there is a grandparent. And I said, okay, well, I'm the only grandparent, so, you know, that works for me. It wasn't even an hour that she called me, the mother, the daughter-in-law. She said, hey, I need you to come get my kids. They're here, welfare's here, saying that my kids can't stay here, and that my dad's at work, and he said to call you. I said, oh, okay. I said, what's going on? She said, I don't really know what's going on. They haven't really told me anything. So the caseworker or the supervisor told her, said, put her on the phone. You know, so I got on the phone, and she said, you know, told me that the kids were going to have to leave there. Could I come get them? And I said, yes, I can be there in 10 minutes. I get there. They meet me at my vehicle, and the caseworker says to me, I'm not even going in that house.
Oh, wow.
I said, really? You're not going in? And she said, oh, no, ma'am. She said, I stuck my head in that door, and that's enough for me. And I said, well, aren't you supposed to go in and survey the home and talk to the parents and whoever else is in there? And she said, who else is in there? And I said, there's probably about 5 or 6 that's been discharged from jail. She picks them up and brings them home. You know, this is what I reported, did I not? And she said, oh, yes, ma'am. And I said, so why hasn't anybody been out here? That's my question. I'm here to get the kids. I'm going home with them. But why hasn't anybody from the department been here with a 2-year-old granddaughter in here, girl, and a 9-year-old boy? Why hasn't anybody been here?
Right.
I said, and I'm not leaving till you survey this home. You make notes on this home. We've got to have black and white, because I'm not taking these kids, and 3 days later, you all call me and say, you know, we're going to leave and send them back to you.
Yeah.
For 6 months, we were back and forth in a court. You know, go to court, and they just tell her, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. She never once done anything they asked her to.
Did she get her kids back?
So I'm sitting there, and this is the end of the story. I'm sitting there in court with her at 6 months to the day, and the judge is going on this rant about 6 more months. They're going to give her 6 more months. I stood up and I said, excuse me, Your Honor, but I do not mean to interrupt your court, but I am here to tell you 6 months. She's done nothing. What makes you and all these people in this courtroom, and this is the gospel, thinks that she's going to do it again in another 6 months?
Right.
We're playing with these kids now. I said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, you all can laugh, you all can make fun, or you can bring this to the table and discuss it and do something about it. But I've watched enough TV, YouTube, and seen in reality what happens to these kids. These kids will not be at the death of y'all.
Right.
My grandchildren will not be subjected to anything other than what goes on in my home, and my home is ACE 1. So you're either going to release these children to me today, she's going to sign them over, or I'm going to go get an attorney, and we'll be back here in just a little bit.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. So you're familiar with the Department of Children and Family Services, and this is an issue that's come up with the home, you know, because we did find out that this belt incident with Sebastian Rogers was much later than what Chris and Katie had alleged originally. We found out that the abuse allegedly happened January 26th, right before Chris left. Would the Department of Children and Family Services ask him to leave the home in order for Katie to keep the boy there?
No, ma'am.
They would have just
no,
removed
ma'am.
the boy?
If it was an endangerment, if the child was in danger, they would remove that child from that home. They would not ask him to leave.
Okay, so that probably doesn't hold too much water. I'm trying to figure out if it was marital problems that pushed him out there to Memphis or Mississippi, or if it was, you know, the DCS. Okay, well that clarifies. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Christopher, he left on his own accord. He left. He's tired. He's tired. Look at the relief on his face. He is so relieved. He is so relieved that Sebastian is not in his life. He is so relieved.
And you know what? You know what? It's sad. But it's on. You're being truthful, because I didn't even think about it. But yeah, he does. He seems like the only one that seems comfortable. Really.
she's between a brick and a hard place right now. I think she isn't abused. DMV. I think she is DV'd.
Mm-hmm.
But shame on her for sitting there and taking it. And you know, you can either get out of the situation or you can die in the situation.
She was willing.
It's your choice.
Yeah, she was willing to die for our country. She's military. She's willing to die for our country, but not for her own son. That's the part I can't get over. But I appreciate your call. I've got another call coming, so I do appreciate your call and all your insight on it. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome, babe. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Keep your head up. Keep moving on.
Mm-hmm. Bye-bye. This is Betty.
Hey, Betty.
Hi, who's this and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Kim from Tampa.
Well, hi, Kim. How are you doing? You're a neighbor to me.
I know, we're neighbors.
We need to do lunch. What are you doing, Kim?
Absolutely. I follow you all the time, but I've got a theory. It's not about the Nina. It has something to do with the custody. Remember that Chris and the father, they agreed that Sebastian could go with the father. Mm-hmm. And I think that Chris said, but the mother didn't want that. She didn't want Sebastian to leave. And so Chris probably said, hey, it's me or Sebastian. And maybe he has some hold over. So maybe Katie passed Sebastian off to someone. And by doing all this that they did, that means that Chris's daughter can't come and live with them now, and she has to raise his daughter.
Yeah.
That is my
It's
thought.
possible. I mean, it is possible. The only thing that I've got is that she doesn't seem like neither one of them seem like Sebastian's coming home is the problem. It seems like they were even at that first interview, it seemed like they were convinced that things were going to be better.
Yeah. Yeah. But she still looks like she just has that expression on her face, like it's just, there's no expression. There's just nothing.
They both look dead inside. Like she looks dead, like you said, it appears from the abuse. And after hearing Nina's story, zebras don't change their stripes. And I can't imagine that Chris is a different person than he was with Nina.
Exactly. But that was just because I thought every theory I've heard, I was like, yes, that's it. And then I was like, no, that's not it. So I thought, well, maybe she just passed him off to someone and he's gone,
I wish that was the case. Yeah. And I keep trying to justify it and I keep trying to be hopeful for it. But it's just like, when I look at everything, it just seems like, it seems like we could justify it, but really would it be plausible in the grand scheme of things? They're not acting like this boy is alive. Nobody is, honestly.
Yeah. That's true. Well, we can always hope. We just have to
That's what hope. We have. That's all we really have is hope, and we're praying for a miracle. But when we start hearing all these legal talking heads talking about statistics, boy, talk about some depressing crap right there.
Yeah, I know. It's really sad. Mm-hmm. The whole thing is heartbreaking. So, well, thanks for hanging in there with it and everything.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. All right, bye.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to end on that note because we have been running all day today. We've been up. I've been working my tail off literally from 6 o'clock this morning, and it is now almost 7:30. I want to tell you guys that I love you. You guys have been amazing. Mab, my mods, everybody in chat. Thanks for coming and hanging out with me. I hope we're, at least you're getting a little insight on what's going on. This is the stuff that I know, some of this stuff we can't, even though we know it's fact, but it hasn't come to the surface. And I'm having to say that, this is rumor and stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff that we know isn't rumor, but because we have no way of proving it to the audience, we have to say it's rumor, And I feel so bad because in this case, everybody's talking about why are they canceling searches? They're not canceling searches. I want to be clear. They're not canceling searches. People can go out there and search on their own accord. They're canceling the search parties that they were doing with Seth. Because Seth, he may already have a team that he likes working with, and things are getting a lot more complicated out there. We know that there's people following them out there. We know people are tearing down signs. it's starting to be a little contentious out there, and I think he's just concerned about putting other people in danger or having somebody, become a mole in his own unit, because there were some things leaked. I heard that there was, a person did not mean to leak some stuff, but had a live camera when one of the Rogers family members were talking about stuff, and the lady did not realize, and it's unfortunate. Things like that, hot mics happen. I try very hard to turn off, but I can tell you when I'm out in the woods and you almost forget you're recording. I have to be honest. When you have all those cameras attached to you for hours and hours and hours, you don't even think about them anymore. They're there, and people can, but you forget that they're even there, and you're just talking. It's hard to explain, but I don't think whoever that was out there was intentionally trying to have an aha moment with the grandmother. I think because I watched it and the guy's like, "Hey, can I give you a hug?" It seems like he was just being really nice. He was out there searching for the grandson, and because he had a live podcast, it kind of hurt the grandmother's feelings. But at the end of the day, the people that are helping that family, unfortunately, are social media. I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, they're social media. Social media is helping this case, period. We're the ones out there. And unfortunately, it is social media. Cameras are everywhere. Like I have, did you guys see my strap-on video? Have you guys ever seen my strap-on video? You guys have to see my strap-on video. I think I put it on. I need to stop. I do have a strap-on video. How to be I gotta find it. I don't do too much funny. Okay, guys, I am a funny person, but you don't, because I'm always serious and stuff about this, so you don't really ever get to see my funny side, and I get that, and it is by design, but I do have a small itty bitty bit of a humor. I've got a horrible reputation to uphold, so I'm going to do my job and uphold my horrible reputation. I'm not a funny person, and I walk around with a stick up my butt, okay? I worked very hard on that. Okay? Shh, don't tell nobody. All right. The phones are off, guys. Don't call the phones. The phones are officially off, okay? So let me go ahead and we'll give you guys a little comedy before we end the live, okay? We'll give you a little comedy before we end the live. Strap it on, baby. Strap it on. I better get some thumbs up for this, guys. I'm just going to tell you. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything off the screen so you guys can have a full frontal. We want you guys having full frontal of the strap-on. True crime strap-on, okay? This is not the kind of strap-on that you'd want, Some strap-ons might look like this. We're going to use today, okay? Nothing really major about this strap-on that should get people all up in, arms about it. So how we do this is we just put this over ourselves like this, okay? This is how true crimers strap on, right here. Now we're strapped, baby. Now we're strapped. Check out my strap-on. I bet you mine's bigger than yours. True crime strap-on, okay? This is not the kind of... Okay. So now that we know that Bullhorn Betty has a very large sense of humor. Depends on what lens you're going to grab this time. And I'm talking about a lens, okay? Don't get any ideas out there, guys. If you need to, go back, do the true crime thing, slow it down, blow it up, make sure it's a lens. All right, guys, you guys have a wonderful evening. God bless. Have a happy hump day. Okay? Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.